The rising star murdered at just 26 years of age. Ann Presley, Little Rock, Arkansas news anchor, who was savagely beaten in her own home last week, has died. Her injuries so horrific, her attacker broke nearly every bone in her face. But it looked like at one point she was going to pull through, as we reported the story to you last week, but sadly she did not. And Saturday night, a fellow anchor at her TV station, KATV, fought back her emotions as she reported on Ann Presley's death.
Our hearts are heavy here at KATV tonight after learning that our own Ann Presley died earlier this evening from injuries she suffered during a brutal attack in her home this week.
And her death makes the job of finding her murderer even more difficult because she may have been the only one who could identify the attacker or attackers. Joining me on to talk about this, Ann Presley's friend and former co-worker at KATV, Matt DeCample, and also with us our Prime News law enforcement analyst, Mike Brooks. Matt, it's sad. I did not think we'd be having this conversation. When you and I spoke last week, I thought she was getting better and I thought things were looking up. Did things just take a turn for the worse? Tell us about it.
They really did, Mike, and you're right. When we talked last week, things were looking much better, and I think that's one thing that made this so hard for all of us on Saturday. Of course, last Monday we had the original devastating news about the attack, and there was some worry whether or not she was even going to survive that first day, and then things started getting better, and then she had a setback, and then she had about 3 or 4 days there where she really was making improvements, and they even had a news conference with her doctors on Friday talking about how well she was starting to do again, and then we learned, of course, late Saturday afternoon, early Saturday evening that she really took a turn for the worst really quick and never came back.
Wow. How's her family holding up?
Well, it's been rough for everyone, of course. Like we just said, with the suddenness of the turn of events on Saturday, they do have a great support group, of course. Her friends, all of us gathered together Saturday night. You saw it. It just hits me hard again seeing Pam having to read that the piece on Saturday night. Everyone was there together, just kind of leaning on each other and crying in each other's shoulders, and of course a lot of both sadness and anger, because as you said, we still don't have a suspect yet. There's still so much that's not known about the case.
All right, let's get Mike Brooks in on this. Mike, how do you go about solving this? Middle of the night attack, no witnesses. Where do you begin?
Well, Mike, initially they said that they believed that the motive was burglary, but with how severe her injuries are, Mike, okay, it could be burglary, but I'm thinking it is probably someone that she may have known or just was an acquaintance. Because if you see, her dogs were let loose, and they were found later or next the morning after she was discovered, and they seemed like they were fine. It wasn't like they'd been out running around all night. And the other thing too is her father, had also said that he suspects that she may have been targeted. Police are still saying it's a burglary, and they're not saying much at all about what kind of evidence, if any, that they have in the case.